Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. I am so excited today to have Rebecca Meier here as my special guest. She is the director of the Yankton Contact Center, and you guys have a lot going on, and so I'm so glad that you are here to share a little bit about it.
Well, thanks for having me. We do have a lot going on. We're going to be moving starting next week into our new location at 718 Walnut Street. And then the following week, October 23rd, is our fall fundraiser.
Yeah, so October is a busy month. Well, really, the whole fall season becomes it's like a marathon for you guys. There's a lot happening. And so first, let's talk about the new location. This is kind of a big thing that happened this year. And so you want to talk a little bit about what brought it about and where it is and what it's going to provide for the contact center moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, the Yankton County Commission approached us in April, I believe it was, and said that they wanted to utilize the space for a county entity. And so we went out and started looking for a new place for us to exist. And we looked and looked and looked. I think we toured 8 or 9 places, and then we got in contact with the people who own the building that we're going to be moving into, and it just worked out really well. They're willing to work with us on so many levels, and they're redoing the space for us so that it's accommodating to our clients and all of that. And so we've been working on that. I think we signed the lease in June, and now we're going to be moving. So
yeah, so as you're watching this podcast, if you're watching it as it comes out, they're in the midst of moving. We were recording this the week before because she was going to be so busy moving the week that you're watching this. But and say the address again, because you're moving out of you're moving out of the government building, which is right downtown, and you're going to be just slightly north of downtown right now.
right.
The new location.
So we're going to be at 718 Walnut Street. So just north of the library on Walnut Street. I've been using Ben's Brew Station as a landmark because I feel like it's a pretty known place in town. But yes, accessibility, I think, is going to be really improved function of that space, because right now we exist in the basement,
right?
And we get all of our food delivered, whether it's coming from Feeding South Dakota or Hy-Vee, and it has to be brought in on the elevator down into the basement. Bless you.
Thank you.
And so, if you think about functionality wise, touch points on things, we have 5 to 6 touch points on a product that's being given to a client before it even is given to the client. And so just for functionality of our volunteers and just how things will operate is going to be 100 times better.
Yeah, for anybody coming in and out of the space, because you were in the basement, so it's either an elevator ride down or going up and down the stairs. And
and so we that's one of the things that I'm looking the most forward to. And then the other piece that I think is really important is we're not going to be located in a government building that we're not affiliated with. I mean, the county does support us with an allocation annually, but it's a small percentage of the money that we bring in from the community. And the stigma, I think, that some people feel having to walk into a building that maybe makes them a little uncomfortable too.
Yeah, houses other government things, and oftentimes the population that is being most served by the contact center might have mixed experiences. And I think we understand that in the church as well, that there are people that sometimes walking into a church building can be a hurdle in and of itself. Because of past experiences. So, and also it just clarifies that the contact center is not a government entity. It is a nonprofit.
Right, I think that's a huge thing. So before we were approached by the county to move out of the county building, we had already been strategically talking. We did a strategic planning session in September, and we had had a 5-year plan to be out of the government building. Um, it just like fast tracked it by 4 years. So I mean, we had hoped to have a little more time to like plan things out and get things and possibly purchase a building. But that didn't work out. But I think where we're going to be and all of that is still going to be like an improvement from where we are for both operations, but also our clients.
Awesome. And I guess I should back up a second. For those of you who maybe are not familiar with the Contact Center is kind of a first stop for people who have needs here in Yankton. It's a great place to begin that looking for help, and it houses a food pantry, which is probably what most people know about the Contact Center. That's the
Yes,
most visible
absolutely.
thing. But there's a lot of other services that the Contact Center provides.
Yeah, I'm 2 years into it and there's still things that I look back at that the contact center did over the past 50 years and I'm like, wow. But right now our services are preventative, so to prevent people from going hungry, so the food pantry. And then we do Salvation Army extension, so we help with like homeless prevention, utility shut off. We do emergency lodging for people who are experiencing homelessness, and then we do medication, transportation, and there's something else I'm forgetting. But basically, the entire point of our service is to make sure that people's basic needs are met and that they're doing it with as little hurdles to jump through as possible, and that we're serving a population that probably is falling through the cracks through
Right.
other services.
So, if someone were to come into our church and they're asking for help, the first question that we ask is, have you been to the Contact Center? Because that really is, again, going to be the best bet for them as far as being connected with whatever services that they need. And the Contact Center provides all of these things. Now, sometimes they say, I have been to the Contact Center, or I've used what the Contact Center can help. And then that's when we will kind of provide a gap with our own. We have a Good Samaritan Fund in our church. And so we will provide like Hy-Vee gift cards, or very once in a great while, we'll do some utility things, which we've partnered with the Contact Center before on. And we'll also once in a while provide like a night in a hotel for those that, again, we don't see ourselves as the first stop for any of those things. We want people to go to the Contact Center first, but we recognize, again, like we try to be that next step. If that's been exhausted and there's still need, then we can try to help after that. But that's always been our first question is, have you been to the Contact Center? Because that's the Contact Center just has so many more resources and connections and knowledge about so much of what people are facing.
And that is the point of why the contact center started to exist, is because there were too many resources available that were too spread out or whatever. And so when the contact center started, it was really when HSC first opened, and there were people that were being released from HSC without any resources. So that's where the clothing closet came from. You know, it started at the contact center and stuff. But as we've grown and evolved, we still are that initial contact. Most of our partner agencies require people to have been granted our services or denied our services before they will offer.
Yeah, so probably the same question that they get here, they've gotten other places as well.
Yeah.
Because again, it's we do have great resources in Yankton, and it is really helpful to have a place that can connect people, right, to the right thing. And so you've mentioned a couple times that the Contact Center has been around for 50 years. This is your anniversary year. So this summer we did down at Music at the Meridian.
Yes.
We were handing out root beer sundaes, root beer floats. Yeah, root beer floats. What
Yeah.
is a root beer sundae? Um, I was in charge of putting straws in. I think that was my job for it.
But, that's an important job.
I think that's probably as much as you can trust me with, to be honest.
I'm not much of a cook either, so that's probably where I'd be at too.
Um, so it's been really fun. There's been kind of some different events, and I saw recently that you guys were at a Mount Marty football game. And the reason I noticed that is because you did your volunteer of the year, and
Yes,
that
Miss
is someone known
Carol.
to us. Carol Becker got the
Mhm.
volunteer of the year. She's a pretty regular Tuesday afternoon volunteer, right?
Yes, we call them our Tuesday Titans because our Tuesday schedule is down pat and it's Miss Carol. She's our final shift of the day. And when we were talking about it, she was the first person brought up because she is always the person that goes above and beyond. I mean, if there's a lull, she's cleaning something, she's organizing, she's always moving. And
That tracks. That
yeah.
tracks. That's the Carol that we know as
Anybody
well.
who knows her
Yeah.
knows that that's how she is. And you know, we so love having our volunteers. And I think that she does such a good job in the entire community to volunteer. I know
Mhm.
she cooks for you.
She retired from that this year.
Oh man.
But those were big shoes to fill. I
I
mean, they were small shoes because she's a small woman, but they were. She was a fixture. She still does volunteer with us in the church in a variety of ways, but believe it or not, she's in her 80s.
she is.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine someone who is so active and so involved. And if any of you have talked with Carol, you know her heart for the contact center and the work that she gets to do
Mhm.
there, and how important it is for her to visit with the people and to get to know the people that she's getting to serve.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I love about our volunteers is our volunteers that are repeats every week. That is one of the biggest takeaways is they enjoy interacting with our clients and getting to know them and understand
Mhm.
where they're coming from and things like that. And Carol definitely embodies
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So the next big event for the contact center is coming up in a couple of weeks or in about a week or so, and that is the second annual fashion show.
Yes.
I am super excited about this. I missed it last year because I had to be out for a meeting, and so this will be my first year getting to go. But this year's theme is having to do with the 50th anniversary of the contact center. And so does it have an actual name, the theme?
We're doing a 70s dinner party theme.
70s dinner party.
Yeah.
I have already bought one dress, decided I needed a different dress. I'm so excited. So you can dress up a 70s theme or not, and you can come as you are. But we've got lined up some local boutiques that are going to be showing,
Yeah.
they're going to be doing modern fashion, is my
Yes,
understanding.
yes. So they're gonna do just clothes that they have available for sale. I'm working on getting some models to do some vintage. I don't know if it's gonna come or not, so it'll be a pleasant surprise if it does, but we'll have some vintage clothes displayed for sure. Uh, but really the 70s dinner party is we're serving 70s appetizers because appetizers were a huge thing apparently in the 70s.
The biggest thing that I am super excited about is there's going to be a chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more excited about
Yeah.
this. Um,
I kind of am excited. I've never been anywhere that has had a chocolate fountain,
I
so
mean, that's
I'm
worth the
excited.
price of admission, honestly.
There'll be Hy-Vee's catering, and so they're gonna Chef Stacy is putting stuff together, which I would show up just for that
I know.
because her food is always amazing. But yeah, she's gonna do like pound cake, I think, and some
Pigs in a blanket,
yeah, and quiche.
deviled eggs, I think was
Yeah.
on the thing, which that's not my jam, but I know for a lot of people,
Oh,
that's the
I
thing.
would partake every once in a while, yeah. But
Yeah.
so that was a huge thing is when we were talking about it, the food appetizers was the first thing that got brought up because apparently when you went to a dinner party, that was the weirder the better, I guess. But um when we were looking Jello molds with,
Oh, yeah.
but
I'm saying that like I was alive in the 70s, very much wasn't, but
yeah, wasn't either, but
this is
part
our
of me
chance.
yeah, I was
This
gonna
is our
say, part of me
chance.
wishes that I was, because there was some pretty cool fashion, but yeah, so we're just excited. The fashion show piece of it is not 70s themed, but everything else, the atmosphere will be 70s themed.
Yeah, I've actually been putting together a really fun 70s playlist, so it'll have just good vibes, I
Yeah,
think. And so that is happening on the
yes, Thursday.
23rd, the Thursday, and tickets are available. They are $50 a piece.
Mhm.
Again, this is a fundraiser for the contact center. And so it's going to be just a super fun night. Like it's a good opportunity to grab a friend or two and just play
Mhm.
dress up and come and enjoy just a fun atmosphere, a fun night, finger food.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be some other opportunities throughout the night to one, learn about things that the contact center is doing and other things that help raise funds for it. So I think we've got silent auction.
Yes, we have a really good silent auction this year. We have about 20 packages and they range from like 2 nights at the lodge out by the lake to some pickleball stuff. I mean, like there's gonna be something for everybody to bid on. We're doing a 50-50 raffle, which always surprises me. People are always game for a 50-50,
I mean, you basically could win back, your entrance
like tenfold.
tenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $1 and you might get 700. I think
Yeah.
that's what we raised last year. After the pot was split, I think it was $700.
Wow.
Um, and we're going to do, I'm trying to think, we're doing we're doing a wine poll. That was really successful last year. So it's kind of like a blind date with a wine because you don't know what you're getting. So that's a lot of fun. That sold out last year. And then we're gonna have maybe some 70s trivia too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is some of you here at the church, this would be a great event for you to come and to partake in and school me on some 70s trivia because I'll be there. And I know a thing or two, but I don't, it's not my decade.
It's not mine either, but the internet is a great thing. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna allow you to use the internet at the event. I want it to come from your brain, hopefully.
If we were doing 90s one, I think I could do really
Oh,
well.
I could too.
That could be fun.
That was my year.
Yeah,
Or decade,
that
I
was my
should say.
decade. Yeah. I'm really good at 90s.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you, if you are interested, you can either let me know if you'd like to purchase tickets or you can call the contact center. They're $50 a piece. You could also, there's a table, if you get a table, which is 8 seats, you get it for the price of 7. So one of those seats becomes free.
Yes.
So 350 if I do my math right. Yeah, don't trust me unless she's agreeing.
Yes, that is.
But we still have tickets available and we would love, again, I'm really passionate about the contact center. It's one of the things, I mean, I've even got my sweatshirt on today. It's one of the areas that I have really outside of the church that I've invested in the community because I really believe in what they're doing. I see the value of it. I see the need for it as a pastor in our in our community. And so I really hope that our church can support the contact center in this way. But if you happen to be busy that night, there are some other cool things coming up that you could support, that you could volunteer for. And so do you want to just touch briefly on what some of those things are?
So November starts our campaign for our holiday meal baskets, which I think this is the 26th year that the contact center has done that. So it's a holiday meal for people who are struggling financially. And so we will be handing those out the week before Christmas, but the kickoff for that to raise the funds, we served last year a little over 300 families with that program. And so I'm assuming we're going to be at that number, if not a little more this year. And then when you get closer to the end of November, that's when our Salvation Army bell ringing starts, the week before Thanksgiving. And we're going to have lots of openings for 2-hour shifts. It's inside at Hy-Vee. And every once in a while, the Hy-Vee staff will bring you out a thing of hot cocoa, which is so good because it comes from Starbucks. But we're really blessed that they allow us to do that. I'll have a sign up genius available. So Pastor Katie will have access to that to share it with you if you're interested. Otherwise, you can get a hold of myself or Kelly at the contact center, and we can share the link to get signed up if you're interested.
And if you're interested but are kind of scared of maybe doing it alone for the first time, let me know. I am pretty, willing to ring a bell for a couple hours.
Yeah, you've done it the last 2-3 years.
Yes. That's one of the commitments that I like to make is helping with that. I also help put out the counter buckets that you'll see around town during that time of year. Someone's got to go deliver all those and pick them up. So I usually take an afternoon and try to do that as well. But again, I really believe in the mission of the contact center. It aligns with who we are as a church. And I think it's a really great way for us to live out our mission of, as United Methodists, our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And I really believe that the contact center is helping us to do that work, that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. They've had 50 years experience in Yankton doing this. And so part of living out our discipleship and our following Jesus is to partner with these kind of programs, these kind of nonprofits and the work that they're doing. And again, in Yankton, we're so blessed that there's a lot of ways that people can get involved. But if you are not involved in the community, I would encourage you to consider either coming for a fun night out and learning more about it, with the fashion show, or to consider maybe donating to help a family have a meal or ringing a bell and helping them to fund meeting emergency needs in the community. Because again, if the contact center has the funding to do that, that's less need that we need to meet than as the church as well. And so again, I really see what we're doing as partnering together because we're trying to meet the same needs. And so that's why I've been so passionate about it. And I love working with Rebecca. And so I hope that you would consider joining me in that in some way this fall and winter. Also, be on the lookout. Contact Center will be in the Parade of Lights again.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's always fun. And this year we'll have some fun goodies we're gonna hand out cups and chip clips. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, chip clips.
So. The cups are so cool. We had them for the root beer floats and they change color when it's something is cold in there. And my kids will get mad if I don't use those cups. If those cups are dirty for some reason, I don't want this cup. And then my daughter, especially because they're yellow cups and they turn green when they're cold, and it's kind of like if there's cold water in there, it looks green, and she thinks that's the coolest thing.
I do too.
Yeah.
Abigail and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's so cool.
So with that, thank you so much for coming. And again, I'm really grateful that the Yankton Contact Center has been here for 50 years. I know that our community would not be who we are without it. And so with that, I hope to see you in worship soon. And until then, God bless.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Going On, a video and audio podcast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. We'd love to have you join us for worship on Sundays at 10 a.m., either in person or via our live stream, which can be found at our website, www.firstumcyankton.org, or by searching First UMC Yankton on YouTube.